What is up, guys? I am back with some Week 5 starts and sits. My predictions just came out yesterday. If you want to look at those, I'll put the link in the description. But let's get into this one. So, going over the bye weeks, we got Redskins, Broncos, Falcons, and Saints. They're all off. That's actually a good amount of fantasy players that are off this week. So, make sure you check your lineups. Don't have any bye weeks in. Don't lose points because of that. But let's get into these starts, and then we'll get into the sits. So the quarterback that I would start this week is Carson Palmer. He's facing Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the 30th ranked pass defense, but they're the second ranked run defense. And so it's pretty likely that the run will be stopped, especially without David Johnson. And so they're going to have to pass. They're probably going to be down in this game, so they're also going to have to pass because of that. So I'd expect a fairly big game and a lot of yards from Carson Palmer. My running back to start is Wayne Gallman. He came up this week looking like the starting running back suddenly for the New York Giants. He's out of Clemson, a rookie this year. It's always good to keep an eye on those guys who went to big schools that won, the NCAA championship. And so right now he's averaging 3.8 yards per carry, looking way better than Perkins up in New York. And they're facing the Los Angeles Chargers, who have the 31st run defense. So I would start Gallman. This is a good chance for him to shine, show what he's worth. Wide receiver, I like Chris Hogan this week. He plays Thursday versus the Bucks. The Bucks have the 31st pass defense. It's going to be a high-scoring game. That's just set in stone right now. It's the 30th defense versus the 32nd defense. So two of the worst defenses going at it with two very high-powered offenses as well. So expect Hogan to have either a lot of yards, a lot of receptions, or a couple touchdowns like he's had in the past weeks. The tight end I would start is Charles Clay. Bengals don't give up a lot, but Clay is dominating. He's basically the Bills' lead wide receiver. He had 112 yards last game. I like him. They use him a lot. He is a great start at tight end, especially in a year where tight ends are pretty weak. Defense, for starting the defense, I would start the Jets defense. They're playing Cleveland. Cleveland is only averaging 15.8 points per game, which is like fifth worst, I think, in the league. The defense of the Jets is actually mid-pack. They're pretty good against the pass. Cleveland's they're struggling. They've had some injuries, but they are really struggling. So I'd expect at least 10 points from the Jets defense. It might be different based on the scoring of defenses. Like I'm in one league where you get points for like sacks and interceptions, and you don't lose any points for like getting scored on. So you start with 0 and you gain points the whole time. You don't lose any. So it might be different, but expect a good amount of points from the Jets defense this week. My sits of week 5. Quarterback, I don't like Big Ben this week. Ben Roethlisberger is probably not going to have a very good game. They're facing the number 1 pass defense with the Jags, and the Jags are also like one of the worst run defenses, so I would expect Le'Veon Bell to be handed the ball quite a bit. So sit Ben Roethlisberger. For running back, I would sit Chris Johnson in Arizona. He hasn't really shown anything yet. He's averaging 2.6 yards per carry, which is atrocious. They're facing the second best run defense, that being Philadelphia. And he's just not that good. He's too old or something. I don't know. They want David Johnson back real quickly, though. I would sit him. Try and find somebody else. I don't care if it's Frank Gore or someone like that. Just play someone else than Chris Johnson. For wide receiver, I would sit Sammy Watkins this week versus Seattle. He's facing the 4th best pass defense. And, he's the number 1 receiver, so I'd expect Sherman to be on him. And that's going to be a little bit harder. He could have a good game, but I would sit him and play, like if you have him in your lineup, play Cup because he's going to have an easier time getting open. And then, of course, I think Gurley's going to get the ball a lot more this week. The Seattle run defense isn't great, and Gurley's active in the pass game too, and so they'll probably be dropping a lot of balls off to him. So yeah, sit Sammy Watkins. For tight end, I would sit Eric Ebron, going versus the Panthers, 7th best pass defense in the league. Ebron's just too inconsistent. I don't like that. Yeah, sit him. And then the last one is the Texans defense. I would sit them. They're going versus Kansas City. Kansas City's the 2nd best offense. They're consistently finding ways to win, consistently finding ways to put points on the board. They've got Hunt, they've got Hill, they've got Alex Smith. Their defense even puts points on the board. Kind of funny the last game, the last play, how they scored a defensive touchdown. I kind of wonder if that screwed over Las Vegas and the betting stuff, because I think it was Kansas City by 7 and they won by 9 because of the touchdown. So probably screwed over a lot of people, which is kind of funny point there. Anyways, getting back to this, yeah, Kansas City's a great offense. They're averaging 30.5 points per game. I would definitely sit the Texans defense. Don't expect anything great out of them. So those are my week 5 starts and sits. Once again, check out my predictions for this week if you want. I'll have the link in the description. And then I will see you guys next week.